Some countries can be proud of their nature, some of their culture. Others still can be proud of both. Azerbaijan, a fascinating land with 9 distinct climatic zones, rich in natural resources, and a favorable geographical position at the crossroads of East and West, is one of these. Azerbaijan is among the areas of earliest human settlement, with a rich historical past and diverse cultural legacy. Archaeological excavations have unearthed a great number of artifacts testifying to its distant past, as do different rock drawings, architectural monuments, and examples of arts and crafts. The country also has ancient traditions of statehood. The predecessors of the modern Republic of Azerbaijan, established by the ancestors of the Azerbaijani people, each has its own share in this culture. Every region of the country has played its part in this common culture and made its unique contribution to the heritage of Azerbaijan, among which Karabakh had a special place. Karabakh, this ancient, mysterious, charming place, is where some of the oldest traces of human habitation were discovered. In 1968, in Khojavand district, archaeologists excavated the Azekh cave of the Lower Paleolithic age and part of the jawbone of a primitive man from the Acheulean period. This was the first such discovery in the Soviet Union and the second in the world. The Tarlar cave, again in this district, one of the rare multi-layer caves among Mostir monuments, also contained traces of the Paleolithic age. Monuments like Karabakh Tepe, the first residential area of antiquity in Azerbaijan, with the most ancient artifacts of the Neolithic and Bronze Ages, and Khan Tepe, with the most ancient metallic finding in the southern Caucasus, were in Fizuli district. The historical roots of the Üzerlik Tepe residential area in Ardam were also in the Bronze Age, the first ancient residential area in a high mountainous place in Azerbaijan, and the drawings engraved on rocks by forging and engraving were in the Kalbajar district. The Javurgala residential area in the Ardam district was a valuable source for learning about the history of statehood in Azerbaijan. The history of a town with an area of 40 hectares found during archaeological excavations here dated back to the 3rd to the 10th centuries. This source provided researchers with sufficient information on Caucasian Albania, covering the area from the Aras River in the south to Derbent in the north, the first predecessor of the modern Republic of Azerbaijan, and on Caucasian Albanians. Karabakh region, which was part of Caucasian Albania throughout its almost 11th century existence, was rich with Albanian religious monuments, including architectural ones. The cloisters like Amaras in Khojavand, St. Eliseus in Terter, Arokhlan in Lachin warrant particular attention. The collapse of Caucasian Albania in the early 8th century and the adoption of Islam by most of its population gradually had an influence also on the examples of material culture. However, Christianity continued to remain in some places. The most attractive amongst the Christian monuments in terms of their architecture were the Khudavang and Ganjasar cloisters. Different Azerbaijani Muslim states were established in the territory of Caucasian Albania upon the arrival of Islam. Of course, works of art that were created thereafter would contain Muslim culture. Such monuments were abundant in the Karabakh region. The 11 and 15 arch Hudafarin bridges, the Chalabilar Mosque complex, and the Sultan Majid Hamam in Jabrail. The Gutlu Musaoğlu tomb and Çarbulak castle in Ardam, the Melik Ajder tomb in Lachin, those of Demirçiler and Gücülü in Kubatlı, Mehmet Beyli in Zengilan, and Mirali in Fizuli, the Garhabazar Mosque in Karavansaray again in Fizuli, the castles of Asgaran in Khojali and Lech in Kalbajar, those of Shusha and Garabul Khanun, and the mosque of Yukhara, Ashara and Satle in Shusha were testaments to this history. Along with architectural monuments, Karabakh was home of examples of arts and crafts. Stone boxes, stone sheep and horse figures in the Lachin, Kalbajar, Kubatli, Ardam, Jabrail and Khojali districts were reminders of the ancient times. Together with the pagan and Christian pasts of Azerbaijanis, these monuments heralded their Muslim culture. The replacement of religious belief wasn't able to change the structure of cultural heritage. This was in itself irrefutable evidence that these cultural samples were the product of the consciousness of the same people. Not only the Karabakh region, but also on the territory of modern Armenia, where the famous Albanian cloisters like Tatev and Goshavang were located, had a number of examples of arts and crafts. The cemetery of Urut village in the Sunik province, which was part of Caucasian Albania and then of different Azerbaijani Muslim states, was a valuable source containing traces of different stages of Azerbaijani history. This cemetery was rich with stone monuments with Azerbaijani, Arabic and Persian engravings on them. The territories of historical Azerbaijan, which are now part of Armenia, contained also tombs which were examples of Islamic architecture. The tomb of 1413 of the Azerbaijani Garagoyunlu Amirs in the former Jafarabad village of modern Ararat province was particularly attractive. The monument was studied by a joint expedition of the Azerbaijani and Armenian Academies of Sciences in 1961, which revealed that the tomb was built for Amir Saad by order of Amir Pir Hussein. The territory of modern Armenia was also rich with unique monuments of the Safavid period, the peak of Azerbaijani statehood, and of its successor, the period of Khanats, all of which represented Azerbaijani architecture. Yerevan Castle, Shah Ismail, Khudabanda, Shah Abbas, Ulu Jame, Haji Nurfuz Ali, Damibullah mosques, Göy Mosque, caravanserais, hammams, mansions of khans, beys and traders were reminders in stone of this time. The treaties of Gülistan of 1813 and Turkmenchai of 1828 dealt an irreparable blow to Azerbaijani statehood. About 100 years later, in 1918, our independence was restored, but unfortunately this didn't last very long. The young state couldn't withstand the aggression of Soviet Russia. However, even then architectural monuments, rare pearls of Azerbaijani culture, were being created and maintained. The walls of Shusha Castle, founded by Panah Khan in the first half of the 1750s, were strengthened in the 19th century. The mosque, which was a memory of Panah Khan, was restored by Gövher Agha, the daughter of Ibrahim Khan, in 1866. Gövher Agha also had the Ajagı Mosque built for the need of the population and placed the madrasas of both holy places at the disposal of the people. Moreover, the mansions of Haji Gulu, Asad Bey, Natevan, the Memandarovs, the Zorabeyovs and others were also valuable architectural examples of the 19th century. The Khanlık Muhtar Caravanserai and those reflecting the artistic aesthetic taste of the Mir Siyab Oğlanları and the Safarov brothers lent their charm and special beauty to Shusha, the Conservatoire of the Caucasus. The square spring completed the square ensemble of the town. No fundamental construction was carried out in Shusha except for the western part, and thus the historically formed structure of the town remained unchanged. For that reason, the historical part of town was turned into a historical and architectural reserve in 1977. In other districts of Karabakh, the town mosque and tombs of Ibrahim Khan, Mehdi Gulu Khan, Khanolu and Agdam, the mosques of Haji Alakbar, Gochametli and Khoradiz in Fuzuli, Papı, Dashkasan and Süleymanli in Jabrail, a number of springs and bridges in Lachin and Kubatli were also memories of the 19th century.